Well, another Sunday and another episode of Doctor Who. This one was the Witchfinders. Yeah. So they're in the time of King James, and lo and behold, King James himself shows up. Looking like a character out of Blackadder, except not good. Blackadder was a great series. Check it out. Immediately there's a witch. Well, not trial, I guess. Well, maybe, I suppose. They're dunking a woman. If you drown, you're innocent. If you survive, well, then you gotta be. They were gonna hang her for being a witch. Of course, she drowns, but immediately, despite the fact that the doctor is always reminding them, "Hey, look, we can't mess with what's already happened. That's the rules of time," and blah blah blah. The doctor dives in to rescue the woman. She couldn't do this for Rosa Parks. Couldn't do it for the poor guy, the groom in Punjab. No. But here, okay, let's violate them rules. But the woman had already drowned, so hey, no harm done. And immediately you would think the doctor and her companions would all be executed as witches. I mean, not the least of which they're wearing bizarre outfits and all this sort of thing, and just violating all the rules of the times and whatnot. And but fortunately, the doctor doesn't just have a magic wand. No, the doctor has psychic paper. And this is something Russell T Davies introduced. It's another lazy plot device to hurry up and get out of a situation and move on. And it really should go. It's just lazy. So that's not on Chibnall or Jody or anybody with the new crew's fault on that one. And even the sonic screwdriver isn't on them either. But it is just a very lazy devices that the old show didn't do. So there was a sonic screwdriver, but it didn't do what this sonic screwdriver does. So those doctors had to think. Yeah, they had to think a lot. But you don't have to do that anymore. So they befriend the granddaughter of the poor woman who has been executed as a witch, and the doctor's investigating and everything. Once she starts using the sonic screwdriver in front of this girl, that Willow was her name, would immediately assume, "Oh crap, you're witches." Just because of what her grandmother went through and stuff. You assume, oh, she's enlightened and knows better, and no, she would have thought witches were real and all that sort of thing. The thing about the witch trials and whatnot, more times than it had to do with religious feelings, it was a lot of people using that against people they didn't like or stuff they wanted. A lot of times they wanted your property or whatever, and you could use that. Certainly when you get much later than this would be the course in America or the colonies, the Salem witch trials and whatnot, where it was girls accusing people, and it got more and more ridiculous as time went on. But it was the only sense of power they'd ever had, and that was another motive that people would have, to immediately accuse someone of something with no evidence at all. You can call them witches. You can call them alt-right Nazis. You can call them misogynists. Yeah. Hey, maybe that's what you lefties, you're being intolerant and inconsiderate, and you're not really thinking critically. And no. No. That wasn't the message of this episode. And of course we had to have scenes of almost breaking the fourth wall, where Jody's complaining about how women are treated. Doctor, do you know what time period you're in? Apparently not. Oh boy. And oh well, yes, of course there's an alien menace once again, just sort of slapped on there. At least they weren't as useless as the bat people, that's what I call them, from the Punjab, the partition episode, and so they were a menace, and they pretty much the cause of all this mess, where they had infected the chief woman there, who was accusing everyone of being a witch and everything, and then King James shows up just to be an idiot, basically, and apparently has homoerotic feelings for Ryan. Well, I don't know. Was King James homosexual? So that's thrown in there, so this alien mud that contains the essence of this alien race that was imprisoned there from some old space war, and this tree was their prison. And this woman unwittingly, in an attempt to chop it down because she didn't like it, it was some property dispute or what have you, I forget, and it doesn't matter, and she gets infected by them, and it's growing, and she's convinced she's been infected with Satan, and so now she's big on chasing out all the evil, and apparently slaughtered quite a few in the town, because everybody rises from the dead, because they've got all this alien mud in their corpses, and they're sort of lumbering around like the Walking Dead and all that, and it's not very good. And then the doctor suddenly, they don't like this certain kind of fire, so they create torches with that and go after them. And then once the doctor is pretty satisfied that she's defeated him, the King James runs in and kills the leader of the infected mud demon people, whatever. And then, well, once again, you have to have the doctor. And again, this isn't just on Jodie and Chibnall and all that. They made Capaldi do it, and so on and so forth, where the doctor lectures people who've just been threatened with murder and torture. And at that point, when the doctor and her friends showed up, that King James was being held and was going to be invaded and infected by this mud stuff. So it's perfectly understandable on his reaction and based on what his knowledge is. And someone of superior knowledge should know better. But the doctor acts like, well, he's going to understand aliens from outer space, and it's not Satan. They're aliens. We're from the future. This isn't a magic wand. It's witches. It's so stupid. And but it didn't matter. The point was to get to that lecture, where the doctor lectures someone who's more or less innocent here. He was the victim of these aliens who were saying we're going to destroy everything. And his reaction, you cut him some slack, but that doesn't matter. What matters is the lecture here, and that's what you get. Pretty crappy. The aliens are forgettable. They could have been made into something, I suppose, but maybe they'll show up again. I don't know. Who cares? They were just sort of tacked on to a show that wants to talk about King James and probably a slap at Christianity. Why not throw that in there? And of course, men are crap, and that's about it. Not much thought into anything else. They're standing around in the woods, and that's it. That's just, so no stars. This wasn't any good. Well, I suppose the only highlight would be that once again, Graham and Ryan were the best. That they had the doctor did have a few funny lines here, but by the time you get to it, once again, the performances of Graham and Ryan are just, that's it, and I can understand if the rumors are true that they want to leave the show. That probably is true. So, but if they do, so there was nothing here. So last week's episode, just by comparison to all the others, seems to be the best. That was Kerblam. That was the closest thing you'll get to a Doctor Who episode, and that's about it. Yeah. So they win the day, and Willa decides, that, inspired by the doctor, that she wants to become a physician. So isn't that great? And King James tries to lure Ryan to come home with him. But no, that's not going to work. And they take off in the TARDIS and disappear right in front of them. So immediately King James and Willa realize, oh, we were almost fooled by Satan. No, they didn't say that, but they would have. Yeah. So Witchfinder, don't waste your time. All right, thanks for watching and listening. And like and subscribe, and hey, check out the link description below. That'll take you to my mini stores that have plenty of goodies for you. Say, friends, check out Nailsin Theater at sellfy.com/Nailsin. Yes, there you'll find my poor man Mystery Science Theater treatment of public domain movies that really deserve the treatment. Yes, you can head over there and check out the links to my trailers to such films on my YouTube channel. Yeah, you can preview them and then head over back to sellfy.com/Nailsin and purchase yourself some Mr. Nailsin treatments of movies. I'll be right there to guide you through it.